This morning we're going to rip out our formwork.
When we constructed this formwork, removing this joining piece, it'll make pulling these form walls out easier. So we could remove it easily in this stage. We're starting to reveal the concrete that we poured underneath. Some of these large pieces of plywood can take a lot of work to get out.
Close the door and leave the light on. The morning light should be coming soon. Kick off your shoes and leave the winter and the pain it brings to you. Lay your head upon my shoulder. Shut off your thoughts and clear your mind.
This morning we're going to rip out our formwork now that our concrete's dry for our foundations. Just unscrew it and pull it apart.
The term used for this in the building trade is called a formwork rip-out. We start with just removing as many screws as we can get to easily. Some guys use nails when they build formwork. I prefer to use screws.
I remember that day you gave me a smile as I got closer to you. All I could do was talk about the weather.
We pull out our timbers as they become loose when the screws are removed.
I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair. By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
When we constructed this formwork, we prepared it for pulling apart later. So some of our walls are made out of two pieces of formwork and have a piece that joins them together. By removing this joining piece, it'll make pulling these form walls out easier. The 2x4 form we've used here had a tab attached to it to make it easy to remove in this process. When our screw heads have concrete inside them, we just use another screw to clean it out and then remove the screw.
Now I'm old and I think of that day, those words I could only find as I sit by your side on our back porch. That day has never left my mind.
I'm using my small mattock to clear gravel out of the way, as we used a lot of gravel to pack in these forms for the pouring process.
By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
This particular piece of formwork is a good example of how we pre-prepared it when we installed it with an angle cut, so we could remove it easily in this stage.
You were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
Now that this corner's been disassembled, I can remove one of the major wall form pieces.
I remember that day you gave me a smile as I got closer to you. All I could do was talk about the weather.
We just take our time, and it's a bit like unbuttoning a puzzle. Keep pulling out all the screws and sometimes have to remove a bit of dirt.
Summer breeze blowing through your hair.
By using my hammer gently, we can tap these forms free from the concrete.
And I didn't know what to say.
I've reused this many times. I have a lot of pre-built forms I reuse over and over.
The crowbar is an essential tool in this process, as we use it to leverage these forms gently from the concrete. careful to make sure I move all the screws from these forms, as I don't want to injure myself later when I'm reusing them.
Now I'm old and I think of that day, those words I could only find as I sit by your side on our back porch. That day has never left my mind. And I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair.
As all our forms are removed, we're starting to reveal the concrete that we poured underneath.
And I didn't know what to say.
I'm keeping all these screws in a pile as I'll be able to reuse them later when we build our next formwork.
All the times I saw you smile, by the time I moved, you were almost gone. And I didn't know what to say.
Some of these large pieces of plywood can take a lot of work to get out. The trick is to just take your time, keep tapping away, be gentle with the concrete, and eventually it'll come loose.
All I could do was talk about the weather and when we go back to school. I saw you walking down the road.
Sometimes you have to struggle a bit, but you just keep persisting and it'll all come apart.
By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
Part of having a productive work day is taking little breaks and enjoying the wildlife that we have in this beautiful area. Here I'm preparing to remove one of the major wall foundation pieces.
Now I'm old and I think of that day, those words I could only find as I sit by your side on our back porch.
It's good to get this concrete off whilst it's still soft, because I'm going to reuse this for more formwork.
And I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair. By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say. I remember that feeling, all the times I saw you smile. By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
This part of our formwork was a bit different from the rest, as we had to pour our concrete into an existing lump of concrete from the old pathway.
You gave me a smile as I got closer to you. All I could do was talk about the weather and when we go back to school. I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair. By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
As I've mentioned in other episodes, a lot of these construction processes involve a lot of tedious and repetitive tasks. But pulling these forms off and seeing how the concretes come out nice and solid is really satisfying. I just take my time, chip away at them, and try and enjoy this process. I roughly clean up all the form pieces as I remove them, because we'll be reusing these later.
Now I'm old and I think of that day, those words I could only find.
All our forms have been ripped out. Concrete's looking good.
The days never left my mind. And I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair.
The main retaining wall foundation is complete and ready for our block. But the ramp system on the corner is going to require a little more construction before we move on.
I remember that feeling, all the times I saw you smile.
Now we're going to do a bit of a clean up and build a safety step here to get materials in, because I've sort of blocked off my pathway to get all my block into this wall. So we're going to build a temporary step over here.
I remember that day you gave me a smile as I got closer to you.
As I've mentioned before, one of the difficulties in this construction site is we're actually creating an access ramp for this hillside. So the only solution is to keep building these temporary access points, otherwise I can't get my materials in and out safely.
To your head, by the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
I've been using these same preformed panels for many versions of these access points throughout this job, and will continue to use them as they're really strong and easy to put together and fast to take apart. Once I've completed enough of the ramp structure around the corner of this retaining wall, we won't need to do this process anymore because I'll be able to bring all my materials down the gravel ramp. That completes the safe platform for me to get all my materials up and down. Join me on the next episode as we continue the construction of this wall, where we finish off some of this corner ramp system with some concrete block.
Now I'm old and I think of that day, those words I could only find. As I sit by your side on our back porch, the days never left my mind. And I saw you walking down the road, summer breeze blowing through your hair. By the time I moved, you were almost gone, and I didn't know what to say.
Thanks for joining me this week on my YouTube channel. Check the link below, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe button or make a comment so I can help you with your future construction solutions. And don't forget to follow our channel for more ideas and how-to tips for home and garden projects.